Hey, epic buddies! Do you know where the largest nuclear disaster is? Among you, most might recognize Chernobyl, located in Ukraine, at that time part of the Soviet Union. Chernobyl exploded in 1986. This accident was caused by a combination of reactor design flaws and operational errors by the power plant crew. In contrast to Chernobyl due to human error, Fukushima in Japan experienced a nuclear disaster due to a natural disaster in 2011, and its impact continues to this day. Here's the story. On March 11, 2011, a 9.1 Richter earthquake struck off the east coast of Japan's main island. This earthquake triggered a tsunami with two large waves that hit the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. As a result of this natural disaster, the reactor core was severely damaged, became very hot, and melted, causing radioactive tanks to spill into the sea. Since the disaster, the power plant operator has begun repairing and pumping seawater into the reactor to cool the tanks. Counting, more than 12 years later, this cooling process produces more than 130 tons of contaminated water every day. Since the accident, more than 1.3 million tons of nuclear waste have been collected, processed, and stored in industrial tanks. Then, a year later, Fukushima announced the permanent closure of its industry. Thus, operations due to limited storage space and concerns about the long-term integrity of the storage tanks due to recurring natural disasters, the Japanese government controversially decided to start releasing the processed nuclear waste into the Pacific Ocean. The Japanese government claims that this waste, containing a radioactive isotope called tritium and other radioactives, has been well filtered and is safe. Although the IAEA and UN Nuclear Protection have assessed the waste release plan and stated that the plan complies with global practices, in reality, protests from activists, organizations, and the world condemning the action are clearly heard. One of them is from China, which vocally opposes the waste release, has banned Japanese seafood. The community, especially those living in coastal areas and relying on the sea for their livelihood, is very concerned about the potential impact of waste release. For example, Kim Yoon-ah, a diver from Jeju Island, expressed her concerns about swimming in the ocean after the waste release. Although the IAEA has accessed various data related to the release of Fukushima nuclear waste, many scientists and experts remain skeptical about the long-term impact of the action. Two of them are Richmond and Besseler. They emphasize that current knowledge is not sufficient to understand the potential impact of this waste on environmental and human health. Richmond, in his research, stated that the waste released into the sea near Fukushima would not remain in one location. Instead, the waste has the potential to contaminate a much wider area. As evidence, he cited a study showing how radionuclides and debris from the Fukushima accident were initially detected nearly 5,500 miles away on the California coast in a short time. To further understand radionuclides, it's important to know that radionuclides are atoms with a radioactive nucleus. This core has the ability to emit radiation, which can have a negative impact on its surrounding environment. Sean Burney, a senior nuclear specialist from Greenpeace East Asia, added another perspective on the impact of nuclear waste. He emphasized that radioactive isotopes like tritium can have a direct negative effect on plants and animals if consumed. These effects include decreased fertility and damage to cell structures, including DNA. One key to mitigating the impact and restoring public trust is transparency. Indeed, the Fukushima nuclear incident in 2011 left a lasting trauma and mistrust towards nuclear safety claims. This is exacerbated by controversial statements from some independent scientists stating that the long-term impact of nuclear waste releases is not fully understood. Japan's fishing industry was also affected. Many countries tightened scrutiny over seafood imports from Japan. Global consumers have become more vigilant and question the safety of consuming seafood products from the land of the rising sun. In conclusion, nuclear disasters are of major concern due to their long-term impacts. Currently, there is no long-term storage for nuclear waste in the world. Most waste is temporarily stored in water pools inside nuclear power plants. These pools protect against radiation and require electricity to maintain water temperature. If the power goes out, as happened in Fukushima, radiation can leak into the environment. After several years, waste is transferred to concrete and steel barrels. However, these barrels can be damaged by natural disasters or age and require human maintenance. We must remember that our humans and our technology might not last forever, but radiation from nuclear waste will persist for millions of years. Therefore, a safe, long-term solution is needed to store nuclear waste securely, or change its technology to another energy source. And what's your opinion on this nuclear waste issue? Is the explanation in this video easy to understand? If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell.